All right, good evening, everybody. Mr. Karate, can we do roll call?
Mr. Arcomando,
Present.
Ms. Borelli,
Present.
Ms. Ianello,
Present.
Mr. Laurentino,
Present.
Ms. Mahoney,
Here.
Mr. Shearer.
Here.
Ms. Torbeck, Ms. Traverso,
Here.
Ms. Ottarelli.
I think I'm here.
Okay, please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just beginning to get here. Okay. Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, 1970, Chapter 231, 1975. Okay, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Violetti.
Thank you. Olivia, I know the students don't share their notes until Wednesday, their updates, but if there's anything you want to share with the board, I just wanted to give you that opportunity. And thank you for being here. I know Sammy was sick and the backup also was not feeling well. Nothing at this time. Thank you. I also wanted to just share our referendum. Our bond referendum vote is tomorrow. The polls will be open from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 8 o'clock. As a reminder, it's a single session day for all of our students. I'm not going to do a presentation this evening, but I will share our website. It's www.sbpsnj for Saddlebrook Public School, New Jersey. So www.sbpsnj.org/referendum. And if you go on that site, you'll get answers to all of your questions, all the information. It's a pretty comprehensive site, and all your questions should be able to be answered by visiting that site. And if you have further, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Karate, something from you today, or?
No, no report from me.
Okay. I guess we'll review the agenda.
Yep.
Oh, if I may too.
Sure.
Wednesday's meeting, it's going to be a mandated presentation on the NJGPA. And then also we have students and teachers and the elementary principals are going to present on their BRIGHT initiative, the SEL initiative that our 3K to 6 buildings are doing.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go to board action items. B2223.16 to B2223.18. Any discussion? I guess we'll do the other one later, .18, and closed.
No, those were already.
Oh, those were, okay.
These were done 2 months
Okay,
ago.
any discussion? Yeah, I'm brain fart just there, sorry.
Okay, you're allowed.
Okay, I guess we'll move over to education curriculum. E2223.21 to E2223.24.
Just so the board is aware, there was one added in bold, part of our SAIL program. They're going on the same bus as another MD class, so, but they forgot to enter in a separate request in Trip Direct. So it was added on, it's in bold.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Nope.
Through the chair,
Sure.
on E2223.23. We all know how I love to do this.
Mhm.
This is December, and this was from October to November. Is there a reason why? I know it's November 30th. Is there a reason why we're approving it now?
I will have to find out for you.
Good question. Anybody else?
I asked, I can't recall the answer. I will find out. I had a discussion with Gina about this.
Okay, we'll go to budget finance facilities, F2223.43 to, wrong way. F2223.51. Any discussion on that?
just a comment, you'll see in bold, we processed 2 more checks since you received the agenda, so you'll see a third bill list listed there under dot 43, and under dot 50 and 51, it's the financial reports for the month of November. Since this meeting was a little bit later, I was able to close that month out as well.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, there's no policy, no negotiations, personnel's closed, right? Any general questions on personnel? P2223.33 all the way until P2223.40. Any discussion on that? No, huh?
Through the chair, can I ask a question, and I don't know if this is appropriate, so you'll let me know. The employees that have resigned, can we know why?
I've been hosting exit interviews, and there's, it ranges from medical reasons to family issues that they need to handle.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
We've been scheduling exit interviews with all our employees that are resigning, paras, lunch aides, staff.
Okay, and the school psychologist, if you don't find someone who's appropriate, what will we do until then?
That, we just received that one, I believe. So we posted. But we partner with Bergen County Special Services and another organization as well. So right now, our OT is on leave, and we use them. They provide us with an OT. So we pay them for those services.
Okay.
And that resignation, some other reasons would be closer to home, and, having her family, so.
Okay.
Okay, on here, I noticed that there's some resignations, but also on P2223.33, number 3, there's a retirement. I know he's here, but I just want to thank you. I'm going to do the same thing Wednesday. Thank you for your hard work, your dedication to this community, this district. I think I was here when you were hired, and just happy to know that you've been here and you've worked your rear end off for us, and thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your retirement. Okay, anybody else?
Through the chair, I just have a general question, which I don't know why I've never asked. On all of the stipend positions, most of them look like they're sporting. Are all of these people certified as far as CPR? Just curious.
I believe coaches are mandated to be certified by CPR, but let me find out for you.
Okay.
And the Learn Well, I do recall, it was not added to our agenda sheet until November 18th, which was after our November meeting and before December. No, we're in December. Let me get back to you.
Okay. All right. I guess you guys want to do committee reports for Wednesday?
I'm not going to be here Wednesday, so I'll do.
You got a lot of nerve. All right.
Okay, Franklin School PTO meeting, they had their meeting on 12/5. They had their holiday shop at 12/7 and 12/8. They did a Mario's fundraiser on 12/8. They had half-day snack sale for the 4th grade on the 13th. Cookies, cocoa, and crafts are going to be on the 15th, and the bagel sale will be on the 23rd, and the holiday parties will also be on the 23rd. They're getting ready to plan their big fundraiser, their Tricky Tray, which is going to be on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. And anybody that has baskets or anything willing to donate, you can contact Sarah Milnicki through the Saddlebrook Franklin PTO website.
Okay, and I also know on the 15th over there for their holiday thing, Santa Claus is going to be there too, so.
And I wonder who that's going to be.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to go back, per policy, all coaches need to be CPR, first aid, and AED certified.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Anybody else want to do committee report?
Want me to do tonight, Al?
Sure.
Okay, so for long school, Local school had their second meeting of the year on, November 15th. At that time, they thanked all their LMS families for their continued support and volunteer services. Their holiday shop was a success. Children love shopping for their friends and family. The LMS PTO will be hosting a breakfast with Santa at Applebee's in Paramus this Sunday, the 18th. And for their upcoming winter holiday class parties, the PTO is providing pizza, as the class parents will provide additional treats. LMS PTO wishes everyone a wonderful holiday season and an amazing 2023. Next meeting would be January 10th at 7 p.m. in the LMS cafeteria.
Thank you. Marty? Okay. Okay. Liaison? No?
All those were.
Hmm? No. All right. Any old business? New business? Oh, right, great.
I don't know if this is new business or whatever, but I drove through the school parking lot today, and I noticed down by one of the goal posts, there's mats. Ray, please don't tell me those are the mats I fought so hard to get, and why are they out there unless that stuff is garbage?
I don't know, I'll find out.
Okay,
Who's Matt?
track mats.
No, I know, I'm just kidding.
So, and I know I emailed the board later in the afternoon, but so we're looking at our January meetings. It'll be on the January 4th reorganization meeting to approve our meeting calendar for the year. But just so we could talk about, and because there's a few things going on, I got a bid going on. We're looking at moving it back a week. It would be normally the 9th and 11th, which is, we'll be building an agenda as soon as we come back from break. And we only have a week, next week, and then we're off. So we're looking at moving it to the following week. However, we're off on Monday the 16th for Martin Luther King. So Tony and I were proposing that we just meet one day in January at 6 o'clock for our caucus meeting. And if we have to go to close, we'll go to close. If not, 7 o'clock, we'll start the regular meeting up. So if everybody's okay with that, we'd like to propose that day of the 18th.
18th, okay.
Could you repeat that date again, please?
The 18th?
January 18th
At
to
6.
have one night, 6 o'clock caucus, 7 o'clock regular meeting. January 4th is the reorganization meeting. So
I don't have a problem with it, it's just if we don't get everything done and closed.
we could always go back into close if we don't after it.
Okay.
We would deal with agenda items first, and then we could always go back later if
That's
there's not enough
fine.
time.
6.
So is everybody good? Officially it'll be on January 4th on our schedule, but I just want to get a few things lined up for that day. Thank you.
Okay, 18th, okay. All right, thank you. Okay. I guess I'll open the meeting to the public.
Motion, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Where's that?
Read it, Mike.
Is anybody, I just got to read this one thing once I find it. Is it here?
Nancy knows this drill. It's been a
Thank
while,
you.
but you know it.
Microphone.
Thank you,
They're
sir.
gonna move it for you. They're coming to move it for you.
Okay, residents are requested to state their name, addresses, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 5-minute durations. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the Board of Education are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have the specific legal rights afforded to them by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by the members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments, and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Nancy Murray, Pine Avenue, Saddlebrook. Been a while since I've been here, been a while since my kids have been in school, but I do know some of you on the board and worked with you on the other referendum back in, what was it, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, in that time, and I worked on that. And I'm a big proponent of public education and staying in a public school. I must live in a cocoon because I was blindsided by this. I got a postcard in the mail. It was the first time I'd ever even heard there was a referendum for the school, and that large. And that large. And I got it in such a way that I was not able to make the meeting, even though it was virtual in the evening. I was already scheduled out, and the Saturday was before Thanksgiving, and I was already full schedule. So there was no way I was going to go through that. I'm familiar with the buildings, but I honestly couldn't believe that I didn't know about it, because I go to other town meetings. I am on a town board and heard nothing of the referendum. So this, to me, was a big surprise. As I talk to other people who don't have children in school, it's a big surprise to them, too. Real big. We just started seeing the vote signs. That's what triggered it. It's like, first I got a postcard, then I see vote signs. It's a big dollar amount. It's a big dollar amount. Some of my questions were, I did watch, just want you to know,
Thank you.
full disclosure, I did watch with my one son the entire 1 hour, 35 minutes, and like 47 seconds of that meeting. There are some questions I had and some things I wasn't really sure of, and I don't know if you can answer them, but are we still paying any cost to the other bond still? Is that still in our taxes? Any of the other bonds that we've done for the other referendum, is that part of any of our taxes right now? Because you're talking, granted, everyone says it's only $218 a year. The problem is, that's based on your best guess estimate for a referendum for building with materials and delays and labor and everything now on your best guess estimate. They're going to raise rates again. I know you probably built some of that in financially. But you don't know if you're going to get these supplies. Sheetrock, everything, studs, you can't even get the supplies, never mind think about how much they cost. So I don't know how your estimates are going to be, but I'm really kind of concerned that if it does get passed, what it's going to look like when you have to start to cut because you only have so much money. Because if this does go through at that kind of money, you won't get any more. I can tell you, I live in this town for 30-something years. I'm not born and raised here, but I lived in this town for that long, and I've lived through one of those referendums, and it doesn't happen. It just doesn't. When you ask for that much money, you don't get more after that. So that's a concern to me as far as that first dollar figure and what's going on. But there were some other things that were said in the meeting about the fields. I mean, I know we tried to do the fields. We tried to bring the baseball team back. I don't know why that's never even considered. We tried to bring the baseball team back from a county field to where there's lockers and bathrooms, and that didn't happen on that referendum. But now they're looking to put a double field in. It's wetlands, I know that. I know there's going to be a lot of drainage. I watched the engineer. I was very particular to watch for the engineer. But I just don't know. For me, there was a comment made that some of the kids would stay in town if there was better facilities. And I can honestly tell you, one of my sons went to school here all years. One left to go to Bergen Tech. His choice. He tested, he passed, he chose. Wasn't because of sports, wasn't because of a field, wasn't because of anything, it was because of the program that was there. It was unique to that school, and you probably would not put it here because it was the foods program. So you would not have the whole nutrition and the food science program. You wouldn't be able to probably full-blown it. The first thing he said when he heard that, he goes, "Mom, Saddlebrook Field is better than Bergen Tech's," because he played on it. He goes, "And their weight room is bigger than ours." So you shouldn't compare yourself to another school and the gym is the same size. Other than the height of the roof, in the gym. The gym's exactly the same size. It's just one single gym. So he was kind of taken aback at that comment that you would leave to go for something like that. Kids don't leave this this school district for anything other than if they're a big sports player, they're going for the sporting program. And if they're prone to be in a much more dedicated, I want to say it in a proper way, dedicated subject matter that they're going, that's where they're going. They're going to schools like that. And so, I don't know, I just know a lot of people my age with kids out of school for over 10 years, we didn't hear about this. And I just think the advertising, whether it could have been done somewhere else or put out someplace else, I get the record. I'm still one that gets a newspaper, and I didn't see it in a newspaper, I didn't see. So I was really kind of surprised about it. I came here tonight because I wanted to know if we're still paying for the other bonds, and then you're going to bond more. And I heard somebody say something about you're going out to bond for something else. Now, that's probably in the budget, but if you're going to have to bond for this, are you going to have enough budget money to maintain it? And are you going to be able to have enough budget money not only to maintain the structure, but to fill it with employees? And that's a concern, because when you start to get concerned about that cost, you get the physical stuff in there, you can build the building, but if you can't afford to put the people in the building, like the teachers, and you can't afford to maintain it, in another 10 years, we'll be replacing that roof again, because it's not maintained. So you're going to have budget money for that too. You can't keep coming back to the well that many times for that much dollars. My opinion only, friends of mine, same age bracket, granted, when I had kids in school, I was out there and I was shaking hands and I was pushing for all of it. I'm in a different part of my life at this point, and it's a very different place that you have to be, and there's a different thought process. And I've known most of you, at least 5 of you on the board for a long time, and you know me. I do anything for my town. I consider this my home. But this one's going to be a tough call for me. This one's going to be a real tough call for me to decide what I'm going to do tomorrow. And just needed to make the comments because I couldn't make them at any other time.
Thank you so much, Nancy.
Okay, thank
Wanna
you.
see if anybody else-
Oh, sorry.
Oh, anybody else wish to comment? Okay. Let's close it up to the public. Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's all you.
Are you chuckling at me over there?
No.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming and expressing your comments. I'll address some of what you said. So I do apologize for you not being made aware. That was our struggle, is how to reach out to the rest of the town. We did the mass mailing of the postcard. We sent publicity notices to all the surrounding newspapers. I know the community, is it called the community newspaper? They picked it up. They definitely, it was in there because I cut it out, and the Record did not pick it up until Saturday. They put it out there this past weekend. It was sent out immediately to all the newspapers around us. So we sent it out to them months ago and requested for them to put it in their newspaper. And we do have flyers at different businesses around town. We had the signs, the banner on Market Street. The banner was supposed to be flown across Market Street, but when it came, it wasn't double-sided. It was a little too thin to hang up across the street, so we put it on the fence at Washington. And, we reached out to the senior center. We tried. It was a struggle. And it wasn't intentional on our part at all. We reached out to all different places in town. As far as the baseball team back, so we did look into that. That was definitely one of our initial, I don't want to say priorities, but our thoughts. We looked at our field. We had the architect come, and we even talked about taking our track and football field and making it horizontal, moving it, and we tried all different ways that we'd be able to fit the baseball field. I understand in the past the baseball field was here. However, with the addition of the building, there wasn't enough land to have, because we would love to have an entire sports complex here at the middle school, high school campus and be able to support all of our teams here. So that definitely was something we looked into. I believe if we got rid of the track, we would probably be able to do it. But the way with the curves of the track, the architect can explain it better than I could, it wasn't able to fit. And I'll let Mr. Karate address the cost, but I will say that the architect did build in an additional amount of money per square foot in his cost. Mr. Karate, you could take over from here.
Okay, so for the bonds, yes, we do have an issue. We're paying off this school year, 22-23. I can't tell you exactly which one it is because the bonds have been refinanced, which also saves the district and taxpayers money over the years. We have another one coming off 2 years from then. So what we're doing with this bond issue is to take advantage of that. Normally, if we were going out now for this $58.6 million, it would cost close to $600 to the average house. So with that debt coming off, it's costing $282. So we're trying to take advantage of old debt coming off with new debt coming on, and yes, it is a big dollar amount. As far as costs, yes, this is the total. If it all was approved, $58.6 million is the most we can spend on it. We can't spend a penny more. The professionals try to account for escalating costs, increase in interest rates. They feel pretty comfortable, but they don't have a crystal ball, as you've known from 2001, where the board asked the voters for $22-point-some million. It was voted down. They went back out, revised it a year later for 18-point-something million, went out to bid for those projects, and there wasn't enough money. Had to ask the voters for another almost $6 million, and it passed. So went back up to the same amount. The original question was proposed, and you got less facilities and less projects. So we're trying to avoid that. Nobody wants to do that. There's 9 questions throughout the state tomorrow. There was, I think, 10 or 11 in November and 10 or 11 in September. So we're not unique. Districts are asking. In fact, I think there's one in Morris County asking pretty much the same question, and therefore close to $70 million. Years ago, there were mechanisms for the districts to ask the taxpayers for money, but that's been taken away for a number of years now. The budgets were more than 2%. They were in the neighborhood of 4% and sometimes more, and you could go ask the voters for more money. There was waivers for capital projects. That was taken away. There's nothing in the budget that you could exceed that 2% tax levy cap. So with salaries going up, benefits going up, which is the majority chunk of our budget, there's no way to fit in these capital projects anymore. You have to budget for hundreds of thousands of dollars for annual maintenance and capital improvements in the district. And that's why you're seeing so many questions 5 times a year. The districts can ask the state, ask the taxpayers for more money, and you're seeing more and more questions because you can't fund it. There's no other way. If you can't raise money in your general budget for future projects, there's no way to get the extra money. We're not selling anything here. We can't collect more money. They've handcuffed the districts where unless you're a wealthy district that has money put aside, which we're not, you really can't do the projects. So whereas years ago, back in 2001, those mechanisms were available and you could get funding in different ways. We just can't here. So we're trying our best, and we feel with the debt coming off, we proposed the best scenario, and we did look into a lot of different options before we proposed this for the final projects for the board, whether it was athletics, whether it was proposing different grade levels at the buildings, a different area for the middle school. We took a long time exhausting all of those avenues. So I feel we did a lot. I've been here for a number of years, and I just feel this is the right thing for the district. I mean, nobody wants to pay more in taxes at any time. I think that
And I'll just also add on about, our students leaving the high school to go to a tech school. So, we can't guarantee, obviously, but we are starting to grow our programs here at the high school. So we do have an aviation program for any student that wants to get their license, a drone license, a pilot license. And right now it's in the back of a biology classroom. So if we can have an aviation lab and really grow that program here, that would be wonderful. We need the space to do it. So by moving the 7th and 8th graders to a new building, that provides us with some space. Nothing is guaranteed, but we spoke about culinary arts and bringing a program to our high school. I know Paramus High School does have a food service industry program. That's a 4-year program, kind of like our aviation program here, that I've already started looking into to get grants for that program. There's, music technology, sort of like a DJ program that we may be able to bring. So nothing is ever guaranteed, but there's definitely options out there. Right now, we don't have those options. And the benefit, for a child that wants to become a chef and that school offers that program, great. But if they're on the fence, it's just an interest of theirs that they're really into, if they can do it in their own homeschool high school and be with their peers and attend all the important events with their peers and in their own town, that's, to me, is ideal. And that's what I was trying to share during that session.
And one area I forgot was what prior budgets used to have is if you had a new facility, there was a mechanism in the budget where you can increase budget lines. We can't do that anymore. You're living within that 2% cap. That, like you said before, the staffing, all the maintenance items we have to do has to be within that 2%. Now, if this passes tomorrow, we do have several budget cycles to get those funds needed in the budget. I think we're about 4 full budget cycles to do that, so we can. We know the staff, we need, and the budget items, and that's our goal, is to do that.
Nancy, would you be willing to look at one of the classrooms before you leave today, or? Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Could I get a motion to go into closed session?
Before we go into closed, I just want to say, because I'm not going to be here Wednesday, Keith, I want to wish you the very best of luck in whatever you do in your future retirement. Enjoy them grandbabies and keep in touch.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now could I get a motion to go into closed?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Thank you.